Hey guys, it's Zach here, and today I want to try something a little bit different. For some time now, I've been focusing on Blu-ray reviews only, and I've been enjoying the string of Kung Fu cinema releases that have ramped up over the past year. As one of my favorite genres personally, I'd love to talk more about these films and dig around in the extensive catalog. So today, I'm trying out a new segment here on Pajama Theater, Kung Fu Movie Reviews. I've got a fun pick for our very first episode, but before we get to it, let me know down in the comments what your favorite Jackie Chan film is, because today we're reviewing one of his collaborative efforts with director Lo Wei, Spiritual Kung Fu. Originally released in 1978, Spiritual Kung Fu is an action comedy with supernatural elements to spice things up. This film is sort of Lo Wei's attempt at entering the more comedic subgenre within Kung Fu cinema, and with Jackie Chan's slapstick martial arts style coming to fruition, and the utilization of great special effects for the time, Spiritual Kung Fu is a fairly good attempt from Lo Wei, though it does have its shortcomings. Regardless, it's a must-watch for anyone delving into Jackie Chan's filmography. So without further stalling, let's talk a bit about the story of Spiritual Kung Fu. Jackie Chan plays Shaolin student Lung Yat Long, who lives at the temple, training in martial arts. He always seems to be getting into trouble, whether he's knowingly breaking the rules, or just happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The various scenes to acquaint us with Yat Long are purely comedic, as we open our story with all sorts of silly antics and resulting punishments. However, the plot must get going, and one night, a mysterious person clad in black breaks into the temple. They dispatch several of the Night Watch and steal a martial arts manual from the library before making a quick getaway. I will say here and now that the single fight scene we get during the sequence is the only fight scene we'll see until the second half of the film. Lo Wei definitely takes his time with the first half to establish the plot and play around with the comedy, a decision that I'll certainly be going into later. Regardless, as we move forward, it turns out the book that was stolen is a highly dangerous one, known as the Seven Deadly Fists, a style that has long been prohibited due to its aggressive nature. With the unfathomable event staining Shaolin Temple, the Grand Master ups security to ensure the library is protected. Shortly after, our film's title, Spiritual Kung Fu, finally comes into play, as a group of ghosts appear in the library, frightening the monks and students alike. This results in a ton of silly but fun sequences, as the film uses this haunted temple setup for slapstick and laughs. The ghosts have everyone in a panic, all except Yat Long, of course, who fumbles his way into meeting them through disregard and stubbornness. While the Scooby-Doo antics play out at Shaolin Temple, our film jumps over to introduce us to the primary antagonist for the film, Luk Ching, played by James Tien. Seeking to gain the title of martial arts master by force, Luk Ching begins roaming the countryside, seeking out other masters, and doling out a join me or die proposition. It's quickly revealed that he's skilled in the Seven Deadly Fists, the very style focused on in the manual that was stolen earlier. As such, Luk Ching dispatches each master with relative ease, dominating the martial arts world and threatening the balance within the community. So we circle back to our lead, Yat Long, still guarding the library. While messing about with the ghosts, Yat Long finds a crusty old book tucked away in the wall behind one of the shelves. It turns out to be the Five Style Fists manual, thought to be lost for centuries. And it's the only known martial arts style that can counter the Seven Deadly Fists. So, with the help of his newly ghost acquaintances, each representing an individual fighting style, Jackie Chan learns to fight with dragon, snake, tiger, crane, and leopard, ultimately fusing them together under the Five Style Fists. From here on out, the story only escalates as time goes by. Events begin to unfold like a house of cards, as all sorts of sequences rain confusion and terror on the Temple of Shaolin. From theft, to murder, to betrayal, Spiritual Kung Fu takes a turn once the comedy has had its time, plunging us into the second half of the film, which is packed with an awesome array of fight scenes to get the blood pumping. As the plot thickens, the intensity ramps up. Overall, Spiritual Kung Fu is an entertaining film to say the least. It does have its pros and cons, however. On the positive side, I enjoyed every single fight scene we get, and Jackie Chan really flexes his skills in this one. He faces off against many people and many styles, whether friend or foe. We even have some good weapon-based fights to change things up a bit, including a one-on-one pole fight and a 1vs-many challenge, where Jackie Chan really gets some great screen time to show off his short baton skills. Spiritual Kung Fu as a whole has some fantastic tight-knit choreography. However, the dichotomy of the film is very apparent, leading to my biggest issue with the movie, its attempt at the kung fu comedy genre. When it comes to mixing martial arts and comedy, Jackie Chan is unrivaled. However, Spiritual Kung Fu just doesn't tap into his abilities as best as it could, and the writing doesn't help. Instead of a fun blend between action and laughs, the film is jarringly split into two very different halves. 40 minutes into watching the movie, I realized we hadn't had a single proper fight scene yet, with the library break-in at the beginning of the story being our only bit of action. So, without fight scenes, our first half of the film is left to be carried by the comedy alone, which in my opinion is hit or miss. Some scenes are clever, fun, and can even get a chuckle, while others fall short, being too reliant on loopy soundbites, freeze frames, and the like. There are some excellent sequences, however, and I especially love anything here with the amazing character performer Dean Sheck. However, it's just not engaging enough overall to carry the first half of the film. All in all, I really enjoyed Spiritual Kung Fu. It's certainly worth watching for any fan of Jackie Chan, as it showcases some of his peak fighting performance. The noticeable split between each half of the film is a bit distracting, but looking at the movie as a whole leaves me satisfied. It has action, comedy, and delightful supernatural elements. I urge you to check it out for yourself, and leave your opinion in the comments below. Where would you rank Spiritual Kung Fu within Jackie Chan's filmography? Is it a favorite of yours, or is it just another one in the crowd? Leave your thoughts here, and until then, thanks so much for joining me here on Pajama Theater for my first Kung Fu movie review episode. Like this video and subscribe to support the channel, and for now, thanks again, take care, and I'll see you next time.